Okay. All right. So I'm trying something a little bit different. I'm doing something a little bit different on live streaming today. I'm using YouTube directly instead of using Zoom, and I have another device for Instagram Live. So, welcome to today's community breathing and tension release. So what is today? July 13th. So today we're just gonna do a nice regular release through, trying to breathe into the joints and trying to breathe into the body a little bit more. So I think just as like a little bit of an announcement here, I'm using the YouTube live streaming, and this seems to be sort of like the best version that I've done so far. I think I'm just going to get rid of Zoom, and I'm just going to do YouTube and Instagram, and then I'll share the YouTube video through my other platform. So I can just see that this is way, way, way better. So if you would like any links for that, I'll give the links in the descriptions for both below. But today, let's come back to sit, and we're just going to use the floor. You can sit in a chair if you want to. You can sit on a chair and a little stool, whatever feels good. Try to release into your back, your low back, and your hips, and let go of any tension in your legs. If you feel tension in your hips and your back, that's when you need to raise your seat up a little bit. So you need to have a little bit of a decline into the legs, especially if you have anything going on with your hips that doesn't feel good, right? So any kind of low back, hip joint discomfort, you definitely want to give yourself a little bit of a prop up, because it's actually not healthy to make yourself sink into your hips. So we are just going to start. You can cross your feet sitting on the floor. You can take this little diamond shape out here, or you can bring your feet straight forward. Whatever feels comfortable for you to find your sitting bones into the floor. And let's just take a moment and relax the arms, let the arms hang over the legs. We're going to relax the shoulders. You can kind of move them around a little bit to let that release come through. Do a little bit of a rocking side to side, and you can sort of close your eyes. Try to, if you can, especially if you're new, I understand you need to look more, but just try to sort of follow my voice a little bit instead of feeling like you have to mimic what you see me do. So mostly this is for you to find it in your own body and develop that sort of feeling and relationship and sensation internally. Doesn't matter what it looks like externally. I'm going to talk to you so that you can find it for yourself. That's my goal. That's how I teach. So we're just going to rock in the sits bones. It doesn't have to be as big as I'm doing. Relaxing and dropping down and shifting your weight so that you feel where your sitting bones are at. Your sitting bones tell you what's going on with your posture. So if you're having trouble just feeling up over top of them, that tells you something in the posture. So we correct the posture in the upper body through the chest and the shoulders by correcting through the pelvis and the tail. We want that correction through the pelvis to trickle up in a nice sense of openness and release in the top, in the posture at the top of the spine. So starting with drawing your shoulders together and pulling your shoulders back to get that sort of barrel chest, it brings compression down into your pelvis. We want to feel that rooted, lifted up and open feeling. So now just relaxing into the sits bones, hanging the arms down. Let's take a moment and close our eyes. We're going to close your eyes and let the breath seep down and drop down into the base of the spine, into the base of your pelvis. So you're going to take a few released deep breaths. So we're just going to kind of like a sighing feeling. Just going to let go of any tension you can feel holding on. And it might shift you a little bit. You might shift a little bit back, and that's fine. Some of us pitch too much forward. And we're just going to let the breath release. Feel that your jaw and chin lets go. We're finding a plumb line here, finding a plumb line through the spine to release, finding a softness in the shoulders, feeling that wideness and heaviness down through the shoulder blades. Letting go of any external thoughts or tension. Start to bring your focus into your body, into yourself. You don't have to set an intention from the beginning. Sometimes, some people like to set intentions, and that's great. You may have an intention for your practice for the day, for your movement practice, but you don't have to set an intention. You will find one when you get going. So let the intention come to you. If you have it available, that's fine. It could be the tiniest little thing. Maybe you just want to let go of your shoulders today, and that's a great place to start. We're going to open the eyes gently, take the palms together, and feel that your breath is traveling up into your hands. Very soft and light here. We're gliding in between the fingers, finding a sense of release, letting go, and just feeling that you can feel some breath and openness come into your palms. We're going to use our hands all over the body to sort of breathe through, right? So obviously, our respiration doesn't come through our hands, but we're taking that visceral approach to breathe through the palms. And once you feel you've gotten some energy, some sparks drawn up into your hands, we're going to separate the palms. And you feel that little buzz in between your hands. We want to feel that buzz push your palms open out into the space around you. Find a sense of breath inside, moving you around your space through the outside. So this is just a nice yawning, breathing, opening feeling. We're starting to build a sense of support internally. So our movement comes from the inside and gives us a really nice open feeling to expand and stretch through the body. So we want to feel that we're breathing into the space, especially the back of your body. Breathe through the back, and you're moving all around in any direction you feel comfortable. But acknowledge a sense of expansion up above you, down below you, around the sides and behind you. Now we're going to reach out, gathering energy from the space around through our palms, taking that energy around and hovering over your eyes, breathing into it, and just washing over the face around your eyes. So we're just going to release through the breath, let the face relax and open, feeling a sense of calmness wash over your face. And then we're going to take the middle fingers and we're going to go into a nice little massage into the brow bone. Exhale, dig in and up, around to the outside, nice little lift up into the hairline. Relax your face here and feel the face just release and open, a sense of letting go and openness. You're flushing anything that's tense from the center and releasing it out. Then we're going to take the index fingers, little bending here. We're going under the eyes. So go on the bone. We're not into your eye sockets. You're traveling along this orbital bone, breathing and releasing up. Just trace the line of the bone. You'll feel how it goes down, around, and lifts back up, again, towards the hairline. We're going to breathe out, feeling, and of course your sinuses are here, so it's really nice to relax your face and flush through your sinuses in the warmer weather. I know that Suri's going to start talking to me sometimes. So now we're going to come into the forehead, fingertips, and a little bit more vigorous but light, and just breathing out and scrubbing up and down. Getting a nice flush into the forehead, ironing out any wrinkles here, moving the lymph underneath the skin, and then traveling around to the outside of the eyes, the temples. This is very light. Do not poke into your temples. Very, very light circular motion. Breathing into this. And then continuing down, relax your jaw. You can press. So when you push in with your fingers, it's called palpate. And you want to massage and push into the tissue in between your upper and lower jaw. So we're going to let the jaw hang open and just kind of poke around, releasing any tension. You can explore. We all have tension in the jaw most likely. And we're just sort of releasing and breathing into that. And if it feels really tight, try to feel that the breath is traveling through the fingers a little bit more. And then from here, we're going to come around up above the ears into the scalp. So we get a nice little scrubbing, lifting motion up. We're lifting above the ears, sort of decompressing around the ears, going around the back of the ears and around to the back of the head from the ears, a nice little lifting up motion. And then right at the bottom of your head, at the top of your spine, there's a nice little crevice there. and that's our occipital joint, the top joint. We're gonna, well, it's not quite, but it's almost. We're gonna dig into that and just release any compression or tension you feel there, breathing into it through the palms, and go a little bit wider out to the sides towards your ears. And then going back into the spine, now we're changing into a circular motion. So breathing and relaxing, circling around. We're going to move our way down the back of the neck, massaging and breathing through the palms. Feel that you release through the muscles as your hands touch. So releasing and drawing down the back of the neck. We're going to dig our fingers over tops of the shoulders here, a nice little sort of dig over top. And we want to get a nice flush. Use your exhale, sweeping over and releasing and shaking off any tension or tightness. Again, going back, we're going to exhale and sweep it off and let go. One more time. You can choose a little bit of a different spot here, a different line to release through, and shake it off, let go. Now from here, we're going to interlace the fingers. Feel that internal breath lift you up. So we're going to turn the palms up. The arms lift from that lift inside. Lifting up inside your body, making space in the spine. We're going to wiggle up out of it a little bit more. So you feel like you release from your tail, your sits bones, from the base of your spine. You're taking some pressure off of that tail end. And then coming back to center, relax your arms down. We're going to keep the hands like this. Release through your tail. Now from here, this is like a nice little cradling motion with the arms. We're going to circle around, poke that elbow, that outside elbow up. Now we breathe through the ribs. We're breathing in between the ribs. As we go to the top, make sure you're not pushing up. Elbows are wide, and if we go here, now we're moving through the scapula. We're massaging the scapula around the back of the ribs to go over, finding the side, round your tail under, and breathe around. Now just use your breath. Inhale. Breathe through the chest cavity, up, widening the chest. Exhale, over, around, and forward and down. And again, coming around, inhale, up. There's a nice sense of lift and openness. We use breath to open. And exhale, forward, around, and down. Inhale, wide elbow up. Letting the breath come in. Take a little pause and change your direction. Exhale. Sweeping the tail under to come down and around, finding that wide elbow, breathing in between the ribs. So in between our ribs, we have our intercostals, a nice little webbing of tissue that expands in between each set of ribs. We want to breathe and open. They're nice little diagonals that run in opposite layers. So we're literally breathing through that sort of webbing feeling like it's elastic and opening wide. We're going to come through the center, feel a nice lifting up inside again. Feel that lift internally right through the center, called your midline. Lifting up and keeping that feeling. Release your arms and let's just circle through the wrists and the fingers, keeping that internal lift, opening the body. And that's all you need, right? So now my pelvis is long, my chest is long, there's space for my organs. And then just relaxing here. So now we're going to bring our feet out and we're just going to kind of shake things out on the floor a little bit. And then so we're going to bend one knee and let your knee hang open to the side. Flex this other foot forward. Now this one leg's parallel, the other leg's kind of hanging open, turned out. Your opposite hand goes behind your tail on the floor. You're going to use this breath we just talked about. The breath brings you up from the base of your spine, the base of your abdomen. You're going to lift up over your sits bones and that helps you stretch through the leg. Hang this arm open. So we're hanging off the bottom ridge of our scapula, breathing the chest open and relax. Now we're just going to go through using breath. Inhale up. So we get over the tail by lifting up through the breathing and through the connection. The connection expands and opens us to the outside, but we have to build the connection from inside, right? So we're breathing through our internal connection to release externally and change. So usually all that tension and tightness is just because there's an imbalance from your internal strength to your external release, So it depends, sometimes you could be a little bit more connected inside. I mean, these days in our society, usually we're not. So we're going to inhale up and over and release. And one more time, inhale up and over. And just find that release through the shoulder. Now bring both hands up and we're going to circle wrists and ankles, breathing through, feeling little tentacles. Your breath is traveling through the hands. We're making our way down to hang. We're going to relax and hang over the legs. Let your hands come to the floor. It doesn't matter how far forward you are. If you feel really tight, start with your head. Let your head go and feel where you can let your arms go and just keep going with that until you feel comfortable. We want to find a sense of weight and hang through the bones. We're going to let the head go and breathe out through the nose and drop the head as you breathe out. So the exhale helps us release through the head a little bit more, letting that tension through the neck and the shoulders go a little bit more. And if this is too much, just breathe out and let go and see what happens. It doesn't have to be emotion. Releasing and hanging. And then just hanging over here, relaxing. We're going to breathe normally. Sway your head from side to side. So we're letting the weight of the head sway here. And the weight of our head gives a nice little breath and shift through the back of the ribs. Especially notice your lower back ribs with your breath. So your head is leading. You're not trying to push through your back, but you're just noticing that it's affected. We're letting that shift come through. And now we feel the shifting in our sits bones again. We're shifting from one hip to the other. We're going to use this shifting in the hips. Use your low belly to lift your hip up and walk backwards. So we're walking backwards in our sits bones and dragging the legs. We're shifting in our hips and shifting in the sacrum. We want a little bit of movement in this direction in the hips to release through the back. We're opening up in between the sacroiliac joints. And then we're going to come forward, lift up and over. So now your sits bones act like feet where you push off and propel over. The one that pushes down has the impetus. So the push down releases the other one forward. You don't have to lift. You're just going to use gravity. Go with gravity. Go with the natural forces here. Relaxing and hanging over. Let your head go. Let your back go. Feel your tail. The tail of your spine draws down through the floor. It goes down through the floor so that you can scoop and bring the breath in and up along the front of the spine. The tail, long and down, gives you a sense of lengthening up. And then you find as much of that as you can in that opposition down to go up, and then just soften and release. We're going to round the tail under. Use your fists very loose here. Take a nice curl and drum into your sacrum. You can go right on top of the sacrum, all around. There's cartilage in between the bones here. So just releasing and breathing and drumming, releasing any tension. Go into the backs of your hips here too. So you want to feel that release and let go. Go up the sides of the spine. Feel that you're opening wide to the sides of the vertebrae with your hands. Go up towards your kidneys and back down again. Hopefully that's not feeling like too much for anybody. If you get a really big pain sensation there, you might want to go to your doctor. We're going to come up and then just drop into the back sides of the hips, releasing and bouncing the palms off the back sides of the hips, finding that drop into the greater trochanters, into the side of our hip joints, hip sockets. And then we're going to come around from the back of the hip, one at a time, alternating. So we get a nice flush from the back of the hip, releasing any tension and tightness, sending it down towards the feet, out through the toes. And now we're going to come down the sides of the legs. Open your hands, use the heels of your hands and fluff up around the sides of the legs. So there's more of a parallel feeling. Don't feel tension here, but you're kind of scooping. Let the muscles go as much as you can so you can really feel that release off of the bone. We're traveling down these IT band lines on the sides of the legs, all the way down through the quads until you've reached right up above your knees. So over top of the knees, you're still on your thigh. We're going to just kind of make a little fist and fluff around that area above the knee. Go to the inside, So you're releasing any tension above the knees into that attachment zone. You can go right on top of the knee if that feels better for you. And then take your fingertips, do your taps right into the bone. So right into our patella, the kneecap, feeling a nice vibration travel into your knee joints. Go down into the shins, tapping, 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 all the way to your ankles. And back up the shins again, becoming a little bit more awake into the lower legs. And then taking a nice flush, use the heels of your hands into the quads, flushing from the hips down to the knees. Again, you can really give a good amount of pressure to lengthen into the femur bones, getting a good sense of elongating down and out. And again, acknowledge the shape of your leg. It's round. Go a little bit to the outside and a little bit to the inside. And then from here, taking that loose hand again, and we're going to fluff up around the outside of the shins. So the peroneals here, maybe a little bit tight. That can affect your knee and ankle alignment. And we just want to kind of loosen things up, releasing, making sure there's not too much tension down here. And then relaxing, we're going to gently bring the feet back so that your knees are hanging out to this, just relaxed in the legs here. So wherever feels comfortable, use the tops of your hands. Now the inner thigh in a downward released motion, breathing through that, letting go of any tension on the inside lines. So this is our inner thigh, the adductor line. So we want to feel a nice release from the inside of the hips so that the outside of the hips can function better. We're going to travel down this inner thigh line towards your knees. And then flexing through the heels, slightly engaging the calves. Take a deep breath and drop your fists down into your calves. Breathe out. So if you're a little bit sore in your calves, you might want to go a little closer and lighter and just kind of bounce off and let that open up. You can still do it. So it feels really good to get any tension and tightness out this way. A lot of things get, a lot of fluid might get stuck down at the bottom of your legs, especially in the summer, if it's summer where you are. And then finding that big drop, let's go down lower into your Achilles area, just kind of tapping in there, releasing, and then taking your hands back behind you. We're going to just bring the legs out, give a good shake out on the floor, lengthening behind the knees, nice little shifting in the hips and the shoulders. We're going to take one knee up, inhale, start a little scoop through the belly on start your exhale first. Breathe out, then let the leg go and change it. Start the breath. So we feel a little connection before the leg releases. And up, feeling a sense of length behind the knees. So we don't want to feel that we're pressing into the floor. We're using the floor as a guide to release along. Now from here, relaxing and just doing a little in and out tapping. Release your muscles, just move through the bones, let your hip sockets go. You're kind of spreading some fluid around into your hips here a little bit. And then we're going to bring the feet back in. We're going to go focus a little bit more into our feet. So taking some nice ankle circles, rolling through the ankles, rolling around here. And then just relaxing into your feet on the floor. We're going to massage into the ankle heel area. So here, again, this is a lot of like tendon, ligament stuff. We can really dig in there. We can really poke and palpate and move things around. That crevice underneath your ankle bone into your heel, we want to make sure that that's not feeling too tight or clogged up, right? Also, a lot of people tend to roll in on the ankles standing up. And this is a nice sort of wake up to feel a little bit more alive here so that maybe this part of the body, you can feel it dropping down so that you kind of lift up a little bit more without realizing that you're doing it even. And then we're going to go underneath our feet using a nice deep massage into the soles of your feet. So really relax and kind of mush things around here. You're rolling through underneath your big toe is a really good spot to check out. Getting that release all the way up into the balls of the feet, I should say. Now we're going to go underneath the balls of the feet. Hold your toes wide and open. So we want to feel some space in between the toes while your foot's relaxed. So as if you had yoga toes on or toe spacers. And just breathe into that, releasing out of that. We're going to take our hands behind. Now we're going to walk through the feet. So knees together. Feel your sits bones gather to bring your knees together to squeeze. Take your hands behind. We're going to do a little scoop under through the tail. We want to feel a connection from our tummy, from our abdomen. Send breath down and out through the legs. We're going to walk through the feet, reach the toes out. The toes pull your heels up and forward. So we've got this nice little doming of the foot. When we practice this sort of doming of the foot, releasing through your arches is really important. So if you have high arches, there's probably tension there too much and too often. So you want to melt through the center of the foot and walk. Now we're going to reverse it when you get too far away. Your toes start going over, doming, dragging back. Toes go up and over. Melt the arches into the floor as your heels glide back and up and over and dragging back. Now we're going to walk forward again. Breathe through the center, exhale. So you feel a connection from your center through your core all the way down and out through your feet, feeling a sense of sort of awareness and control all the way down into your toes. And then just relax, shake it out. We're going to bring the feet back into your comfortable seated position, whatever works for you, lifting your chest up. Now we're doing our happy hamster. We're going to lift up, take a nice massage, inhale. And exhale, release. We're getting a nice flush through the lymph here, breathing and opening up. And release all throughout the abdomen, through the organs. And then making our way down into the front of the hips, the groin, and just kind of massaging into the lymph there, checking things out, releasing any tension in here. And then coming up right into the center of the chest, we're just going to exhale, breathe out, and do a little scrubbing up and down. Just let any tension go that you feel you're holding here, which is probably more than you thought. And then taking nice little strokes down from the ribs into the pelvis. Go underneath the sides of the ribs, breathing into that opening under the bottom rib, and then come up and under the other side, opening underneath. And then we'll come back through center. Now we're going to relax the arms, relax the shoulders, and then just drop your head over to the side, massage into the front of your shoulder, another lymph spot, and just kind of mushing around, moving things around, releasing and letting things go here. And just sort of letting yourself find where you need to go. And then changing to the other side, relaxing, hanging over, and breathing into that release as you massage, getting a good sense of just moving around and moving the tissue around. And so it's usually kind of soft and mushy to a certain extent, and then maybe a little tighter underneath. And then relaxing back up through center. So now we're going to use the breath and drop the palm, exhale over the shoulder, breathing out, and feeling a nice sense of the breath traveling through the hand and releasing and opening into our upper back, letting go of any shoulder tension, but getting a sense of breath into your upper back ribs and your lungs. And relax. Now we're going to relax the tail under. Feel that heaviness through the tail of your spine. As we let the breath come in and up through our inside center, we want to feel the bones get heavier through the floor. So we initiate through the release of the bones down. The tail releases down so the breath can come in and up. That breath lifts us up inside, lifts us up through the arms. We're going to inhale, lift, lift, lift. Keep the lift as you exhale, release the arms, just throwing them down and out, and then let the tail release. Find it again. Feel a sense of connection. So you're lengthening through your body by engaging internally to lift your body up. We lift the arms up, and then we release. Let it go. And one more time, breath comes in. Try to find the breath from the base of the spine to draw you through and up. And let it go. And then just shake it all out. The shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, getting a good shake all the way down into the palms here. Feel that release from the upper back ribs all the way down into the fingertips. Getting a nice fuzzy feeling all the way down into your hands here. And then we're going to go through each finger. So we're wiggling each line open from the center of our chest, from your sternum here. So feel that the breath expands. As the breath releases, we wiggle, open, open, relax the shoulders. The breath floats the arms open with a little momentum and change. So we want to find a release through each finger, each meridian there. Almost like you're going to fly up out of your seat. So not going back behind you. It's not a whacking it back. We're not doing that. We're feeling the chest cavity float and expand open, but also that breath connection. So it's not just letting go and flying in the joints. It's feeling where movement comes from as we release. So finding a sense of connection to let go is different than controlling and overanalyzing and all that stuff. So we're feeling the release and the alignment come through from practicing letting go and sort of using this as a sense of untangling, opening through the body. Your body knows what to do. Your body is working on balancing and detoxing all the time. And then interlacing your fingers. And we're just going to smush around, moving into the webbing of the fingers, compressing and releasing. Relax through the wrists, relax your shoulders, and just glide around. Let your breath go. If this doesn't come so easily, focus on the breath, letting go, and see what movement comes through. It doesn't have to be fast. You'll find the quickness of this by letting go more. And then reversing it. Find the release in the opposite direction. Exhale, moving through. And then just a little squeeze in the fingers. We're going to pull the hands apart and let go. And then just open and close through the hands a little bit. Feel that breath open from the center of the palm out. Now from here, we're going to do a squeezing breath. So right down here in the base, underneath your navel, right? And on the opposite side of your sacrum, the dantian, into our center of our body, right? So if we're standing up, this is the central point. This is where the dantian is where heaven and earth meet, right? So some people, there's a different name in every modality for this, but that's where it is. We're going to let the breath in, expand through the body, inhale. We're going to squeeze through the dantian. We're going to squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes, and exhale, squeezing through all those distal points and emptying the breath out, squeezing the breath out, compressing, releasing anything negative, physical or emotional. Keep squeezing it out with your breath until you don't have any more breath left. Let the breath in and expand. So the breath expands and floats your body up, and then you squeeze and cleanse out again. Exhale, compressing and squeezing out anything you don't need or want anymore. So you're helping yourself just get it a little bit more flushed through in a way, making space for no. Letting the breath in. And one more, starting with the breath, squeezing it out. And on this last one, we're going to let the breath, we're exhaling, but gathering light new energy, drawing it through the fingertips and toes into our center, enveloping it, feeling that space come through. And then just releasing the arms up, letting go of anything that was just sort of holding on. Let's come around into the very, very top of the neck here. We're going to massage and just feel a sense of length come in and up through the back of the head, feeling a little bit taller. And then take your hands into that nape of the neck there, into the back of the head, and just relax your jaw and chin, sweep the palms up and feel a sense of length. Keep sweeping up to release the arms up and open, around and down. While we're feeling this lift up through the head and the neck, don't try not to tense and arch your back, right? So as you can even go back here, let your head rest into your hands. Your jaw and your chin starts to let go. If you feel your low back starts to arch and get a little bit of tension, try to cue the release of your head and a little bit of a drop in your tail. So feeling that tail end energy draw down, and you'll feel also that the tail releasing opens through the back of the neck and the head. Feel that release work for you as you sweep your hands up and out, around and down. So that's open. Now, we're going to feel that energy down and up through the spine and come out through the eyes, right? So we're using the breath to just scan the room. Use your eyes to look around the room. You're looking at everything and seeing it like you're seeing it for the first time. So you want to feel a sense of openness and curiosity. Until you get to the side, take a new breath and draw around, all the way around to the other side. Feeling a sense of internal awareness and support in and up along the spine. Looking around to the side, taking another breath. And around, letting the eyes scan. Now you're looking out a little bit beyond the space you're in. Let your vision expand and open, feeling that sense of distance into your vision. And let that feeling of connection internally just sort of work in tandem with this, right? So we're feeling how our openness and sort of reception out really wide into the space around us gives us a sense of connection inside. And then the breath brings you back through center. Now we're going to inhale, pull the breath in and up. We're going to hold it there. Let your squeezing your eyes shut. Relax your shoulders out. Try not to compress in your neck and shoulders. Feel the breath come in and up inside. And exhale, let it go. Gently open the eyes. Nice little blink. Take your hands and just kind of blink and sweep around the face, opening the eyes, sweeping away any little extra cobwebs that are left there. And then taking nice little taps all around the skull, feeling that nice vibration into the head now, moving around. And then a nice little sweeping up through the back of the head and the neck, feeling that length come through, the energy nice and open through the back of the head and neck. Using that open energy, relaxing your jaw, and you can just wiggle side to side. You can use your eyes, you can let go. If you don't feel comfortable letting go, then don't. So we're going to exhale, release. And then just slow it down gently and come back. So now we're going to come around onto our hands and knees. So on our hands and knees, finding a nice alignment between the hips and the shoulders. So we feel that the plumb line from and watch your shoulders, make sure they're not kind of lifted up here. Draw your shoulder blades down just a little bit so that you can feel a plumb line into the heels of your hands without feeling you're holding a lot of weight. We're going to just find a nice scoop through the belly, in and up. So we're going to lift the belly to the ceiling, and that's going to round our back. We're going to lift the belly up, especially the upper abdomen, and we're going to exhale, scoop the belly to the ceiling as you push the floor away. Think of breathing wide into your back. The belly lifts to the ceiling, so you're lifting up to the ceiling to lengthen the chest through the shoulders. You're lifting out of your hips, lifting out of your shoulders. Lift your heels, tuck your toes under, a little bend in the elbows, and we find our tail drawing backwards a little bit to elongate. Breath comes in. The abdomen lifts to the ceiling. We find that nice lift as we push the floor away and push back, exhale. Tail is long. Abdomen lifts to the ceiling, lifting up to lengthen the spine through, lifting out of your hips, lifting out of your shoulders. A little bend in your elbows to draw the shoulder blades down as your tail glides back. Breath comes in. Now when we come forward, take one foot back, tucking your toes under, Find a nice sense of length from your tail. Relax this bottom foot. Glide back along the floor. Let that heel release to open the back of the knee and through the hip. Come back in, and we're going to change. Tucking the toes under. Exhale. Think of the breath through your center. You're staying connected as you stretch, so you don't overdo it, right? So if you keep a sense of connection, you won't drop your body weight into it. You'll know your body. You'll know where you can go, where you want to go, where you're at. You'll know all of those things. No one else will need to tell you. We'll just glide back, breathe into it. Except for when someone has a really good amount of experience and they can coach you through a little bit more. So we're going to breathe back. And then again, changing feet. Letting your heel glide. Feel that the tail lengthens through the heel. And change. And again, toes tuck under. Find that gliding back, nice and long through the belly, through the hip. And come back in. Now from here, if you're comfortable, we're going to flex the heels, tuck the toes under. The heels are touching a little bit. We're going to come back and push back into this little hanging squat position. My heels are a little bit together, toes apart. My knees are hanging a little bit out. Hang your arms over your knees and just drop your tail. Let's do a little rocking on our feet. Relax your feet and use the floor to expand and breathe into the floor. Let your Achilles release through your heels, and you can use your hands to gently shift back, letting your tail hang. At the end of this, drop your tail and drop your head. Breathe into that release. Take your hands really close to your toes. Take a deep breath. As you lift your tail, stretch the legs and push the floor away. You can separate your feet a little bit more. Do a nice little shakeout, hanging your body over the hips. Now we're going to bend one knee, sway over the bent knee, but shift into your straight leg, hip, and heel, and breathe into that lower back hip area. You should feel a nice opening there. And then we're going to change. Bend the other knee. So shift your body weight down through the straight leg and scoop. You can even curl your head a little bit. As you breathe through your abdomen, don't lead with your head. Don't cause tension here. Scoop the abdomen to curl your head. Release and shift and change. And scoop the abdomen to curl. You can kind of push the floor away. Now, if you can't be on the floor, I know a lot of people can't touch the floor. If there's a block here, you can use that. Or you can use your own body and just go into your shins a little bit here. But you're just kneading and shifting from one side to the other. We want to get the crevices around the low back hip to open up more. And then we're going to hang through center wherever you are. Hang over your hips. We're going to inhale, the upper abdomen lifts. The upper abdomen lifts so that we can drop the tail. We're making space to roll through the spine with straight legs. So if you need to bend your knees because you can't get your hips to roll, it's because you're not lifting up inside. You're not taking weight off of your hips. There are other reasons for that too, but we're trying to find some space until you come all the way up so you're nice and tall. And as you come up onto your feet, think of that top portion of your sacrum drawing down, gliding down through the backs of the legs to your heels. We want to feel nice and open. Let your feet come as close as you feel comfortable with. So if you're causing tension in your lower back, separate them just a teeny tad. We don't want to be really wide here like this. We're trying to connect. So we want to feel the outside of the hips gather. The sits bones at the top of the sacrum draw down through the heels. So we create a rooting quality. And then we can let the breath come in and up through the body standing, right? So we're going to take, we went over where the dantian is, where that, now we have a real sense of the mid-section of our body where heaven and earth meet, right? So this is where everything starts and ends. We're going to take a sipping breath. Sip through the mouth and feel that internal lengthening in and up while you feel your tail draw down and out behind you. Relax the shoulders. You're using your fingertips. We're going to take a nice sip in and up. Feel that your feet push down as you sip. Sustain it, hold it. Take an exhale with a little bit more of a deepening scoop. Bend your knees. Now stretch, push down, sip in and up. You're looking for some sensation of internal lifting and connecting. As we exhale, as you bend the knees, you add a little contrast to that connection. Deepen it. One more time, push down, sip in and up. Inside the body, you're lifting your own body up, lengthening through your vertebrae, through the joints, and exhale. Same thing. Let the arms go. Let them hang down. We're going to use the breath to float the arms around and up. So as we release down, the breath lifts us up. We sustain that breath. Little bend in the knees and elbows. Scoop it in a little bit deeper. Exhale, releasing forward, around and down. Sipping in and up. Feel that internal connection elongate through your spine. Each little vertebrae is supported by your breath and connection. Exhale. Hang the arms at the bottom. Find the breath one more time. A little push down to zip up. Letting your scapula, your shoulder blades drop down, and exhale. Now relaxing, let the breath come in, pull the arms in and up. We're going to find a nice release, let go. Bending your knees, relaxing your shoulders, and again, in and up. And let it go. Find that drop in your sacrum again, and one more time, up. And release. Let it go and take a nice little walk. So you feel when you're walking that heaviness travels down through the sacrum, all the way through the floor, like a nice train behind you on the floor. So you don't have to feel in your muscles so taut and held and lifted up, right? So, I mean, there's a certain tone of maybe moving with that in mind, but that's not how you can live in your posture probably. That's probably if you're doing something very athletic where you have to be very agile. But if you're walking around and holding that way, it's just going to cause a lot of other things. So we're trying to release that and come into more symmetry. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. So thanks for joining me today. Next week, same time, same place. If you guys have any special requests, please leave it in the comments. And I hope everyone has a good week and enjoys some good summer weather. If it's summer where you are, I'm really happy that it's summer now. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good week. Bye.